You want it though? Where do I begin? I see the hate, they don't wanna see me win. Bank deposits, I got more coming in. Top down, throw the money in the wind. I don't want it all.
Hey everybody, this is Aaron with the Hot Tag Hooligans Wrestling Podcast Show, and here comes this week's 5-minute time limit. We'll start and end this entire segment with WrestleMania. Hey, it was WrestleMania week, and let me just tell you, from the independent promotions that put on shows to the World Wrestling Entertainment, what a great job by everyone involved. I was able to catch quite a few shows on my IWTV that were running in the Tampa area. I really enjoyed a lot of the great matchups that I did see. I thought everyone put forth a great effort, even if the attendance wasn't as good as they had hoped, but everyone did a great job. Hopefully everyone on the independent stayed safe and was able to get out of Tampa safely. Now we go to the WWE, and we'll start with night number 1 of WrestleMania. The biggest shock of the weekend happened when Drew McIntyre succumbed to the Hurt Lock the way that he did. I can see an I Quit match coming at WrestleMania Backlash. If you noticed in that matchup, Drew McIntyre really went for that Kimura quite a bit. And that was a move that he hadn't been using in his repertoire. But here we are now with the fallout to WrestleMania, and Drew is once again the number 1 contender after beating Braun Strowman and Randy Orton on Raw. And an I Quit match or some type of submission match seems to possibly be next. My opinion, let's keep the belt on Lashley. I really thought Drew was going to win that match going into it, but I'm okay with Lashley pulling out the victory at WrestleMania. Let's let Lashley get a little bit of a longevity as far as the championship goes, have Drew chase for a little bit, and then perhaps by SummerSlam, maybe Drew could get the title back. Let's don't rush it. Let's let Bobby continuously build as the badass that he's proven to be. Another big surprise was the performance of Bad Bunny on night number 1. A lot of people downed Bad Bunny and the WWE for using him when there was a lot of talented wrestlers who were not booked for the show. But let me tell you, he put in the work, he put in the effort, and in the end, it was a very enjoyable match. If you've got a celebrity who's willing to take the beating and the punishment and actually put in the work, then hey, bravo to them. And I think Miz and Morrison did a really good job helping carry in Bad Bunny, especially with Damian Priest possibly injured going into that matchup. His facials were really good. He seemed to know where the camera was, and he seemed really into the moment. So bravo to Bad Bunny. Braun Strowman versus Shane McMahon on night number 1 was a surprise of how actually good that match was. I wasn't that pumped about that match at all going into WrestleMania night number 1, but they pulled it off pretty well. And of course, Shane took the big bump that everyone knew that he would. Overall, for night 1 of WrestleMania, I gave it an A. Night number 2. Let's start off with the Universal title. Great job by all 3 men. I thought all of them worked really well together. The crowd was hot for it. And going into it, I wasn't a fan of Daniel Bryan being involved in that matchup, but it worked. I thought the story of Daniel getting this one last chance against Edge 10 years later and Roman being the dominant champion really played off well. We'll have to watch SmackDown this coming Friday night, though, to see where they go with the storyline. I would suggest probably a rematch coming with those 3 individuals at WrestleMania Backlash, but who knows what the WWE is actually thinking. Rhea Ripley's your new Women's Raw champion. I predicted that as well. Now, here we are, though, and Charlotte's already been re-entered into the fray. I really don't like that. I thought that Rhea and Asuka should have built a feud a little bit longer after WrestleMania without Charlotte being involved, but now she is. As far as the match quality at WrestleMania goes, the finish came out of nowhere. I wasn't a fan of that matchup. I thought that they worked really well together, but for some reason, it was just a little bit flat. The storytelling wasn't that good, and it could have just been because the match was kind of rushed together in the last few weeks before WrestleMania, and there really wasn't that much of a build. The finish definitely came out of nowhere. I thought it should have definitely went probably another 3 or 4 minutes, and yes, it was the second best women's match on the weekend, and I'll get to that a little bit later on. But overall, solid job in that matchup. Just wish that Charlotte already wasn't involved and they would have given it a little bit more time and more build. Bray Wyatt versus Randy Orton. I don't know what to say about that. The entrance to The Fiend was phenomenal. Probably one of the best entrances as far as WrestleMania goes for the weekend. But the wrong person won. Randy Orton should have lost that match. I'm not quite sure where they're going with Alexa Bliss now, basically, I guess, turning on The Fiend. On Raw, there really wasn't much clarification as far as that goes on what actually just happened. And Bray showed back up on Raw as sort of real religious in a way. So we'll have to see how they build that going. But The Fiend definitely should have beat Randy Orton in that matchup to get the revenge for being set on fire. So bad move by WWE as far as not capitalizing on that. Now, know you all thought I forgot about this, but I did not forget about it at all. The match of the weekend for me was Bianca Belair versus Sasha Banks. It had storytelling, it had emotion, and not just emotion, raw emotion, as those two ladies tore the house down. And it was almost flawless execution. In my opinion, it's possibly the greatest women's WrestleMania match of all time. I need to go back and watch Mickie James versus Trish Stratus at WrestleMania 22. I may be a little bit biased on that one since I was actually there live for that one. But what a great moment for Bianca. And it wasn't overshadowed by anyone returning. My only downfall to that match was at the end. I wish they would have had Montez come out on camera, not where I saw it on Twitter, and celebrate with her in the ring for that moment. It could have been an Eddie Guerrero / Chris Benoit moment from WrestleMania 20, where they're just hugging in the ring and that celebration's there. But kudos to WWE. Kudos to Big Match Banks is what I'm calling her now. She always delivers on the biggest stage. Sasha Banks does. And passing that torch in a way to Bianca Belair. Fantastic job, ladies. You are the main reason that I gave night one a classic matchup. And I plan on watching that one again here in a couple of weeks, right after I watch WrestleMania 22 again. Overall, for the weekend, I gave WrestleMania a B+, though, because it wasn't at the level of the WrestleMania 17, and which to me is the best WrestleMania of all time. But they got a B+. It's great to see the fans back. It was great to see the fans energetic. I did feel like there was some noise kind of being piped in every once in a while for some entrances, but they had that raw emotion, the fans just being involved again. Man, what a great feeling. Kudos to everyone involved down in Tampa. Hopefully this is a sign that more fans are coming to the shows. Can't wait to get back to normal as far as that goes. And don't forget, hit the subscribe button. That's it for this week. We'll be back later in the week with a Hot Tag Hooligans Wrestling Podcast show, normal episode. So make sure you are tuning in. Check out PWTs as far as our merchandise goes. And don't forget to pick up your copy of my book, Independent Road, A Wrestler's Journey, available at Barnes & Nobles. I appreciate all the support, and we will see you all next week.